G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the west side of the map, playing as the Chinese in the color blue. We have got 3DB. On the opposite side of the map, playing as the English in the color red, we have got Beastyqt, also known as Beastyqt. He is playing on a Smurf account at the moment. This account is ranked in Conqueror though. I think he got Conqueror 3 with this account, so pretty impressive. He's got 2 accounts inside the top 10. 3DB also going to be a pretty decent player as well. Has got that Conqueror ranking. I think he sits just outside the top 20, so not too bad of a gamer. This matchup, obviously, English against China. It's an interesting matchup, a developing matchup, a matchup that I've got quite a bit of difficulty with when I'm playing it as the Chinese. Just primarily because, obviously, as the Chinese, you know, you love to try and get to the late game, and the English, well, they're pretty good at the late game as well. In fact, they do very, very well in that late game. So I think we might have ourselves a little bit of a battle of the late game because, I mean, well, the English have got a number of different options that are available to them. And you can see the Beastyqt here. He's going to be opening, going up with the double scout here because he's going up against China. So he wants to try and deny the food source from China. He's probably going to be moving like mainly on farms. But obviously, this map being Altai, if he wants to place a second town center down, you know, there's no better spot than right here on top of all these deer. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some fast castles coming out today. English are a civilization in the current meta where they've got a lot of flexibility as to what they can do. So, as an example, you can be thinking, if you're playing the English, you can open with, say, you know, a very standard opening. And this opening that we've got right here from Beastyqt is what I would call the most cookie cutter opening. It is basically just rushing up to feudal age as quickly as possible. And if you see a player doing this, normally you would expect that they're going to be doing some sort of aggression in the early game, whether that would be longbows, whether that would be tower rushes, that sort of thing. And that's obviously one of the things that that the English have got available to them. But also keep in mind that they like to do a little bit more of the farm play as well. That's going to be something that is always happening. Early wheelbarrow, another potential possibility for the English. And if that doesn't work out, you know, why not do a little bit of a fake out? Why not do, you know, 4 or 5 longbows into a fast castle? That's always going to be an option for you as well. We've started seeing second town centers come out from English players as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a second town center come out from Beastyqt today. Though I would actually, you know what, it would make sense. The build order that he's going for right now, it is a rush up to the second age. And so typically what you would do is if you're playing the English, right, like you'd just be going for that fast castle. But remember, he's playing up against China. And China are naturally going to have the villager advantage. They're going to have the Song dynasty. They're going to have all the elements that enable them to outscale the English player. Because the English player is probably going to be on 2 town centers, right? The town center as well as the King's Palace. But what Beastyqt could do here is look to try and take, there we go, look to try and take the stone, put down a second town center, and then go for a fast castle with that, and try and match the Chinese power, or Chinese economic power in the third age. So adding in the second town center, probably going to add in the King's Palace as well. One thing you've got to be careful of is obviously Chinese timings can be pretty potent once you start talking about, you know, 2 town center Song dynasties, palace guards, nest bees, those sort of timing pushes. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that come out of beat as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of build order he's got. A little bit late to the age up, but that's okay. Tax is going to be the consequence of it. Barbican probably going to come down over on this position. No, it's going to be an Imperial Academy that comes down initially. Going up against the English, I would be very hesitant not to go for the Barbican first, just because, as I mentioned, there's always the possibility that they go for early longbows. You know, what's to stop Beastyqt from just getting out 2 or 3 longbows? They come in here, they look to apply, you know, a little bit of damage over onto the woodline or onto the berries or something like that, and you could be caught in a bad position. So I think it's just better to play safe. But obviously here, B reckons that, he's got a pretty good chance if he just goes, you know, he just goes with the flow, that sort of thing. Beastyqt are going to be scouting him out, going to be seeing exactly what he's up to, knows about the Imperial Academy. He's looking at the stone as well. He wants to pay attention to the stone, because that's going to dictate how Beastyqt can play. Because we can see right now, Beastyqt, he is very intent on going up to that second age, looking to get the second town center down, whether he goes... I think deer is going to be the best spot, because as you can see, normally the English player would be going for farms. They're not going for farms. Why not? Because they're investing that wood instead of on farms in a second town center. So naturally food is going to be a little bit shorter. He's got berries available to him. Deer, it just makes sense for the town center to come down over here. Other alternatives that he could look for, potential town centers, are right here with the berries, as well as the wood line, and then kind of gets like, protects the stone in the event he wants to go onto that. But it's going to be something that is probably less important, but we'll see how he looks to play it. Over on the other side, though, B is working towards that dynasty. So yet to get the Barbican down. A little bit late. I feel I haven't really watched B's build order too much, but I feel like he probably doesn't play a lot of China. You know, that when it comes to Chinese build orders, they're not very streamlined. They can be quite difficult to do, and it's crazy the different efficiencies that you can pull out. You know, just a villager here or a villager there can mean the difference in like your Song Dynasty timing being right now at 525 or your Barbican coming down right now at 525. Like I'm not kidding you, like with the efficiencies that Kanoki has found in Song Dynasty timings, like you can, this Barbican can be completed at 525 easy peasy with the Song Dynasty. We'll check in over on Beastyqt, as it does look like he has stopped gathering up the stone. 1194 in the bank. Second town center coming down onto the hunt. No surprises there. So from here, I guess it comes down to a question on what does he do. He's looking to scout, and when you see this many villagers on gold, this is telling you that it's highly likely it's going to be a fast castle play here. So I wouldn't be surprised if what we're seeing from B here could be a fast castle, but this is an early stable. So once again, this early stable signifies we could see professional scouts coming out, but I do not like professional scouts on this map, and especially not with the way that it forms at the moment. So you've got 7 deer in your base. You've also got your enemy who's got 7 deer in their base. So already take 14 deer and just put them out of their misery, because you are not going to have to worry about them. You just drop a mill down over here. You don't need professional scouts for that. But then obviously, there are other deer around the map. There's these 3 up here. There's normally 3 that spawn out over on the larger berry patch. And then you've got another 3 that spawn in the middle over here. And then finally, another 3 here. But hold on a minute. How many little deer patches do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I going wild? 5? Why is there extra deer here? Hold on a sud. Hold on. Okay, maybe professional scouts isn't terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why does B have so many extra deer? You guys seeing that? Hold on a minute. What the flip? Am I the only one? Hold on. I'm going crazy. There's more deer on this map. Never mind. Professional scouts is actually a pro gamer move. Holy crap. Okay. And he is supervising the stable. We're seeing scouts come out from it. That's actually crazy. I did not realize that. So you've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 deer. Not to mention that you've got an extra 7 here, an extra 7 there, so that's 14. So you've actually got more deer that spawn on this map than a normal map. I didn't realize that. I thought it was actually a nerf. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I was looking at maybe I'm just not very good at counting or something like that. I could even be missing even more. I'm just trying to make sure, but I'm going crazy right now. So that's a pro gamer move if that's what he's doing. And it looks like it would make sense here. You can see he is now going over onto stone. It is professional scouts. Professional scouts, in fact, already in 4B. And scouts slowly, steadily going to be gathering up this deer. We can see that Beastyqt is out on the map with his scouts, just sort of scouting around. He's starting to wall up as well. So no surprises there, looking to play it a little bit more defensive. And so I guess this comes down to sort of like your play style. I would not have thought about professional scouts here, but now like it really makes sense. And the fact that he's gone for 3 scouts as well is the perfect amount, because you can just take in literally 3 sets of these deer absolutely everywhere around the map, and it's very easy to macro. And oh, he's actually got more deer out. So he's, oh yeah, look at that, he's got more scouts out. So that's going to be plenty of deer out for him. That's an insane amount of food. And so one of the reasons why professional scouts is so good as China. So as you can see, this mill, it is very, very close to this Imperial Academy. And this mill is going to get stacked up completely with gold. It is just going to be non-stop that the gold is coming in. So he's able to take this Imperial official and just immediately drop, and bam. Like, you watch this, okay? So now all of a sudden, 86 gold becomes 166 gold, just like that. This is a super smart play from B. I love this opening for him. Obviously, he's delayed that second town center a little bit here, but it just makes total sense on a map like this, where you've obviously got deer that are available, but it becomes a little bit less efficient to micro it, and his timing here that he's found is absolutely perfect. I think the big thing is it's kind of safe as well, the opening that he's got, because he does have the stable in the event that he needs to get out, you know, a whole bunch of horsemen in a jiffy. He's going to be able to do that and look to try and deny any potential aggression that that our English player does push out. But now we do see that third town center coming down for Zumbitutsa Beastyqt. So he's going to be able to match the economy of the Chinese player. So right now, if we do a stock take, you'll see that we've got Beastyqt who's on 45 villages. Compare that over to his opponent, who sits on 39 villages. So Beastyqt is slightly ahead, but eventually he is going to be outscaled. He is going to be outscaled by the Chinese player. But because that second town, or that third town center comes down, good little spot here as well. It's very, very close to the main town center. Because of the fact that he goes into the third town center, now all of a sudden it means that his economy is going to be on par. So he doesn't have to worry about, because this is one of the big things that China love to do. And so basically, if you go for 2 town center Song, you're going to be hitting 130 villages before your enemy does. And because of that, it basically means that there's a timing window where your enemy's sitting on about 90 villages, something like that. Beautiful little micro there from B, coming in once again. Might be losing these scouts if he's not careful. We could also see the longbows come up and look to pick off this villager, but there's going to be more villagers coming out. Beastie isn't able to see inside there. Scout moving back slowly but steadily. Outpost going to be coming up here. B still yet to reach that castle age. We obviously did see Beastyqt going for it. And it begs the question, where does he go into from here? So option number 1 is going to be that he goes heavily on knights. And I think knights are a pretty smart move going up against China, because it forces them into crossbows and spears. And obviously you want to make longbows, and longbows counter both crossbows and spears. So that's a very smart move to do. I suspect we're going to be looking for a monastery shortly if we haven't already. There are a few relics that are available on the map. Not a lot of them. Beastyqt's kind of walled himself out of the map. So he's got this one up here available at the top side. But one of the other possibilities, and you can see Beastyqt kind of macroing towards it at the moment, is that Imperial age. So it starts begging the question, could we see a fast Imperial coming out of Beastyqt? And I think it makes a lot of sense. When you think about the way that China plays, right? Typically, China wants to kind of sit back. You can see all the upgrades coming through at the moment for B. He is not even in castle age yet. He's just working away on his village account. And this is a part of the reason why I love 3 TC Song, because in the event your enemy goes for 3 TCs like this, you're still going to be able to outscale them. But he's working towards that castle age, and it's going to take some time before he's actually able to put any meaningful pressure out on the map. And typically, what does Chinese pressure look like? Well, in this matchup, normally Palace Guards, Nest of Bees is what Chinese pressure looks like. But the timing on this is going to be very late. We're 12 minutes aging up at the moment right now for B. So quite a late age up. Obviously, he's got all of the upgrades through. We've seen professional scouts. We've literally seen every single upgrade coming through for him at the mill. We've seen every single upgrade at the lumber camp. We've seen every single upgrade at the mining camp. Quite literally everything is upgraded at this point. And so that's why he's taken his time to get up to the next stage. But I guess the big thing for me, and can I just have a look at that mill? Still got 300 on it. So that's absolutely crazy that the Imperial official is still permitting there to be 305 tax in that, despite having Imperial examinations. But I guess the thing for me is that window of timing for the Chinese player is closing. And in fact, I would argue that China typically in this matchup doesn't want to put on pressure if they're going for a 2 TC Song. If you go for like a 1 TC Song, then definitely that could make a lot of sense. Try and look to get out on the map, try and take those relics. But here we actually see Beastyqt. He's farming up, but it's looking more and more likely he is going to be going for a fast Imperial. We still don't see any stable down for him at this point, which is what you would expect in the castle age, just because of how strong English Knights work on the defense. The fact that they've got that network of castles bonus is always going to help them out. It's really good to contest those relics. B actually going for hand cannon slits instead of going for the springled emplacement, going for hand cannon slits, and I do like that. He's slowly and steadily walling up the map, though. We can see that those walls are coming through. Did go for a springled emplacement over on this northern side. Does look like the relic has been taken by Beastyqt. But now we start to see those Nest of Bees wheeling their way out very, very shortly. Nice little macro back here as well. And I've got to be I'm really impressed here with the way that B has just kept his food economy nice and close here. Keep in mind, he's still got the deer that are sitting out here that he's still yet to bring back. He's just been working in everything else. He's taken them and now looking to wall up the rest of the map. So we've got one deer that sits out here. You've got another deer carcass. Like, there is so much food on this map. I never realized this. I honestly thought that you spawned with 1 deer hunt and then 2 small hunts. So you had 1 of 3 and then a second 1 of 3. I thought that was always the way, but it definitely isn't. In fact, there's a lot of vills, a lot of deer that do spawn out here. Monastery going to be coming down for B as well. He's got great map position. He's going to be able to deny this from from Beasty, but you can see the resources that Beasty's got saved up. He's definitely going fast Imperial, so almost 100% going to be a Wingard. I do not think we would see a Berkshire Palace coming out. It just doesn't feel like a landmark that's that strong at the moment. Sure, it gives you a lot of staying power, but that's not what you really want. You want pushing power, and as a result, I suspect Wingard is going to be the way, and indeed, Wingard is the way for Beasty. And putting it in the back, you know, 10 out of 10 base building, a lot of players would have looked and been like, yeah, I'm going to put my Wingard here. No, this is a terrible spot for a Wingard. This is the first building that's going to get killed when a push comes to shove, and then you're going to have no way that you can hold the push. Chuck the Wingard in the back. Sure, it might take an extra 15 seconds for your Trebs to get up to the front, but it makes so much sense for that Wingard to be protected. It needs to be the last thing that goes down in your base at the very, very back. So great positioning there for him. But we'll tune in now with B and see where he's up to, because he has taken complete control of this map towards this northern side of the map as well. We can see their relics are out, just chilling out with a Palace Guard for the moment. Villager count difference, 85 for B, 88 for his opponent, Beastyqt. So B looking pretty good at this point in time. Now that Imperial Age has been reached, I want to see what the reaction is from B. Is he going to start moving a lot more villagers over onto gold? And indeed he has, straight away putting villagers over to gold. At least he was. I think these guys have now decided to move over to a mill on the berries. So as China, what you want to be doing is delaying that farm transition as much as possible. You can see that I think B's just going to be selling off a whole bunch of his food that he's got. But we'll have to see how he plays it. More upgrades coming through for B, but yeah, ideally you want to be delaying that farm transition as much as possible, and that's what this Imperial official does on the mill here. Just enables it to really hold off. Village is now going to be transferring out onto that gold mine. He wants to go Imperial as well. So when it comes to late game compositions, B's got a number of options for him. Most notably, it's going to be a heavy bombard composition. So ideally, as China, you would be looking for 7-8 bombards together with about 4 or 5 Nester Bees, and then Palace Guards together with crossbows, spears, and eventually you can move into Grenadiers. That's going to be an option for you. But against English, and this is something that I talk about quite a lot, is I think that English have a much better late game than the Chinese in that matchup specifically. I think overall, China definitely have... oh my lord, those Nester Bees just firing off right now. I think that overall, China definitely have a better late game against every other civilization, but I think in this matchup specifically, it's very, very good for the English. But Beastyqt struggling a little bit, trying to push himself out of the base, goes for a bit of an aggressive keep. Not going to be happening today. The Nester Bees continuing to fire down, and as a result, B also going to be dropping down a keep of his own and forcing Beastyqt away from this position. You can see that those veteran longbowmen, as well as those veteran spearmen, are going to be trying their best to hold on, but the Nester Bees going to be dishing out plenty of damage here. We'll check in with Beasty and see how the Trebs are going. And this is what really makes the English late game so damn strong and so effective against the Chinese matchup. So I'll talk a little bit about it. First and foremost, you've got enclosures. Obviously, they get it against every single civilization, so that's just a great bonus for the late game. But it's going to guarantee that you've got gold income. You know, you're stuck in your base right now. You've got no gold down here. Oh, that sucks. Oh, you got no gold over here because you know, you played very defensive. In fact, you've only got 1 gold on the front side. That sucks. But look, you've got gold coming through from your mills. And what are you going to be doing with that gold? You're going to be turning that into a Wingard army. Sure, it costs 200 gold, but I tell you what, it's going to be more than enough that is paid for by your mills that continue to trickle it in. So that's a really, really good, an incredibly strong point. But that's not really the difference as to why the English do better than the Chinese in the late game in this matchup. Number one, bombards get countered by Trebs. So the trebuchets have got a significantly greater range. You can see right there, 16 tiles against the bombard, which has only got, for the Chinese, a maximum of 12. So a 4 range difference, and it's also going to mean, typically, it would be very difficult to lose those bombards to normal trebuchets, because trebuchets are expensive. But for the English, well, they pay a discounted price for their trebuchets. Obviously, only you get one for free in the Wingard army, so that means that you can really start to stack them up in quite a ferocious number. So that's going to be a really good sign for Beasty in this late game. He's going to be able to snipe out those bombards from the Chinese player that they want to typically make a lot of bombards for. The next thing is Grenadiers. You know, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Grenadiers are a great unit for the Chinese in the late game. China loves to make them effective against a lot of unit compositions, but one of the things that doesn't counter is the longbowmen, because the longbowmen have got a longer range. So it means if you can split your longbows effectively, and then you can look to target down the Grenadiers, they trade incredibly well against those Grenadiers. The third and final reason is going to be the men-at-arms. So the men-at-arms, the English men-at-arms, hold on, we'll talk about that in a little bit, because we got ourselves a bit of a battle trying to unfold right now. Beastyqt going for a bit of a keep here in the middle. A fair amount of units going to be coming out, looking to push him back. He's got the nest of bees together with the lancers. Great composition here from B. This is exactly what he wants. He's just got to be careful of those trebuchets, though. Those trebuchets will look to dish out damage. Villagers going down. Oh, my lord. Beastyqt almost losing those villagers. Very fortunately, has got his textiles upgrade. And that's going to enable those villagers to survive. The keep comes up, provides that network of castles bonus, and B looking like he's going to be able to hold on here. But keep in mind those trebuchets on the backside, going to be able to snipe these nest of bees out. You can see that's exactly what's happening. But now in response, we see there are villagers underneath these clock tower nest of bees that are going to be able to continue to repair that up. And you can see the treb rocks coming down. And this is where I start talking about the power of the English, because the English are going to continue funneling out these trebuchets from that Wingard army, and they do it for free. I mean, I say for free. Obviously, you got to pay a little bit for it, but we can see Beasty hasn't been able to secure this gold up yet. Still no villagers gathering on gold, and yet still he's able to continue pumping out those trebuchets, which do cost normally 250 gold. And now those nest of bees going to be under threat. Beastyqt is holding on for his life. The fast Imperial, the question is going to be whether it pays off, because his opponent now is in the Imperial Age as well, and going to be looking at getting those bombards. We see pyrotechnics coming in, a range increase. We see all sacred sites now being taken for 3DB as well, so he is looking to secure up the late game. We can see all the amount of walls that have come up here, just absolutely everywhere. But now, the main agenda is going to be held towards this second sacred site, or this central sacred site in the center. We do see it is going to be a palace guard as well as a nest of bee composition. But let's talk a little bit more about why in the late game the English are just so good against the Chinese. That third reason is going to be the men-at-arms. So English men-at-arms, they get that unique bonus. It's going to be armor-clad, aka armor Chad. This is going to take them up from 8 armor at max upgrades to 10 armor at max upgrades, which gives them a nice break point against Chokunu, because now the Chokunu, instead of doing 3 damage a pop, is doing only 1 damage a pop. So basically, they're doing absolutely nothing to those men-at-arms in the late game. And China, typically they want to make grenadiers and mix in Chokunu as well. That's going to be a really important thing, because the Chokunu, they fire fast and they deal with those individual targets. With the grenadiers, they like to deal with those big balls, but the Chokunu, a very effective unit against those smaller, individual units that start pushing up. But the men-at-arms, obviously here, for Beastyqt, are going to be very, very potent in the late game if that's what he looks to go into. Obviously, English have got a lot of other great things going for them in the late game. We've talked about enclosures already. Network of citadels is going to be another upgrade that is incredibly strong. We can see it's network of castles, but the upgrade network of citadels is what enables it to really start going ham, and that affects all the trebuchets. So English is able to play a very defensive game. Hand cannon is always going to be a great unit as well for the English once they can secure that gold. And I expect that once we see Beastyqt look to take this gold here, I wouldn't be surprised if we do start to see a huge amount of hand cannoneers move out onto the field, because they're going to have that extra attack speed that's really going to force them on into the next sort of the next sort of level. But we'll take a look at how B's got doing, because he is getting precision crossbreeding, something that you don't see every day. 500 gold in this mill at the moment, so still plenty of tax in there. We'll take a look down to the south, because that sacred site is being neutralized, so Beast made his way through here. Palace Guard's going to be coming out elite. Palace Guard's coming out. He's also going for elite army tactics, which is going to give him a nice little health increase. You can see popping up to 252 there. He's almost got max upgrades for that. Only needs to get another, I think he needs to get +3 attack and +3 armor, and that's going to be it. Oh, he's only got +2 attack. Or +1 attack, rather. But now, this is where we really start to see the Chinese player struggle. Bombard's going to come out, going to look to dish out some damage onto that clockweight trebuchet. Oh, I was going to say clock tower trebuchet, counterweight trebuchet. Bombard managing to take out the first of the trebuchets. And this is where it becomes a little bit more skill-based, because the trebuchets, they will lose to the bombards if the bombards ever get into range to fire them. You saw it right there, 2 shots. Compare that over to the trebuchet. So we got 720 health on the clock tower bombard at the moment. But remember, that changes. That changes based on whether we've got the siege works that's been researched, which it has, but it also changes based on Ming Dynasty. Ming Dynasty is going to give you an extra 10% health, so it'll take you up to 792 health. Villagers under attack down on the south side. Palace Guard's going to be able to defend them. But just to give you guys a little bit of an idea, so 792 versus the damage that comes out from the clock tower trebs, you can see they only do 130 damage. So ideally you need to hit a critical mass of about 7 trebuchets, 6 or 7 trebuchets. Springlord's coming out. We do see the upgrades have come through for them, but Bombard's going to be coming out in response. You can see, look at the healing coming down now from B. He's doing a great job, but the Bombards might be going down. Indeed, the first one does go down. Springald's working together very well in tandem with the Trebuchets, and this is what makes it harder to hold this this Bombard count high, because ideally you want to be going for clock tower Bombards, but it means that eventually you're going to have to just be going for the normal ones, because you're going to be losing so many Bombards. And that's exactly what B needs to do in this position. Continue this siege push, continue the keep push, and try and force the issue over on the English side of the map. B going to continue pushing out now. Villagers looking to try and put down this keep. He's sitting on 112 villagers at the moment. Compare that to Beasty, who's on 144. So he's worked out his times tables. He knows the 12 times 12 is 144. But Beasty now getting through all of those upgrades. We see fertilization coming through. Elite Men-at-Arms going to be coming through, and this is where we start to really see the English take off in the late game. It's those Elite Men-at-Arms together with the Longbows, together with the Trebuchets, that really start grinding down that Chinese player. But beautiful repair micro coming in here from B. And he's doing a great job, just slowly but steadily trickling his way forward here. The Bombards obviously have a lot of DPS compared to the Trebuchets. The one thing the Trebuchets have got going for them is that range. But now China looking very strong as they continue to push forward with this full mech army. Often we talk about mech in StarCraft, so for anybody who doesn't know, Terran, it's like a human race, or in fact it is a human race. So basically they've got two play styles. You can play Bio, which is like Marines, or you can play Mech, which is very, very heavy tanks, Goliaths, or Thors, or Vikings, or whatever it is that you want to play. And this is what is often called Mech, just simply because you're quite literally making, you know, siege tanks. You're making Nest of Bees, you're making the Bombards. But beautiful micro coming out from Beasty there, being able to take out a couple of the Bombards. We hear that attacks are happening down to the south side. It looks like a wall has been not unfortunately made. Bombard Outpost going to be providing a little bit of support there, but Beastyqt continuing to suffer. Look at the Springald's numbers coming out for Beastyqt. And I think I see a hand cannoneer. Indeed, we see our first hand cannoneer out on the battlefield. What am I thinking of? No chemistry coming through just yet for it. So still yet to get that extra 7 damage, but Elite Men-at-Arms going to be coming out. And these guys, once they've got their clad armor, in fact, they already do, so it's the other armor that we're still waiting on. They're going to start really dishing out damage. Beastyqt losing a lot of villagers there over on that wood line. But we'll take a look at where those big golds are. So there is a smaller gold up towards the north, a big gold down to the south. Where is the other big gold, though? We've got another gold here. I suspect it's over here in the middle. Nope, that is another smaller gold vein. I don't know where the other big gold is. I might be blind. I might be legally blind. There typically should be a second big gold. It might have been mined out. It might have been mined out already. I think this might have been it. Surely it wasn't this close to B's base. B had a pretty decent spawn if that's the case here, because he got the second big one down here as well. But we'll have to check in with it. But now Beastyqt managing to hold on those Elite Men-at-Arms, starting to really look like they've got some serious numbers on their game. We'll check in with his blacksmith and see where he's up to. You can see the armor upgrade still yet to come through for him, but he will continue working for it. Nest of Bees on the backside for 3DB, really starting to look quite decent against those Men-at-Arms as they fire down. He's reached that critical mass, and now those Nest of Bees really looking impressive. The Bombards on the backside, you can see Beasty still working him down with the Trebuchets. He's got, how many Trebs do we have on this backside? We'll take a look. 6 Trebuchets just firing down. Beasty focusing down the Bombards, and this is what we're talking about. You know, these Trebuchets always going to be able to constantly kite back. Bombards have to move forward, have to try and take out the counterweight Trebuchets. I'm curious if we've got siege works over on Beastyqt's side. We'll take a look and see. No, we don't have it. This is a big mistake from Beastyqt. Siege works increases the health of siege engines by 20%. That's a fair amount when you think about it. It actually makes it going from a 2-shot to a 3-shot for the counterweight Trebuchets up against the Bombard. So it's a nice little interaction there. Nest of Bees continuing to fire off on the backline. And I think we can really see now that, like, when it comes to the critical mass of Nest of Bees, it seems to be around this 5-6 number. It's more than enough to actually start taking out Men-at-Arms, and it becomes a lot more about the siege. But now Beastyqt looks to try and hold on in this game. He's done a pretty decent job up until this point, but keep in mind the Sacred Site counter is again ticking down towards the south. This Sacred Site was resecured. We've got palisade walls over on the eastern front, a little bit of an open gate in the middle, so no stone coming out just yet for B. We'll take a look at his perspective and see exactly what he sees. He's sitting on 90 villages, so he's lost a fair few villages here. Might even need to start thinking about market trading out some of that gold, looking to buy up some, to buy some food and just keep a few more villages in queue. Sacred Site victory is now on the clock. Beastyqt needs to be careful. 110 villagers for Beastyqt at this point in time. Under attack from multiple angles. We've got this outpost up towards the north that is still just dishing out damage. Down towards the south, another outpost out over there. Beastyqt attacked under multiple positions. And now looking to push forward towards this sacred site. Nest of Bees looking to tee off. There's the bombards out as well. Beastyqt going to be setting up position on the backside here. 5 trebuchets out for him. Looking to try and take out the first of the clock tower bombards. In fact, we can do some math right now. 130 damage, so that's going to be 5 of them. Takes you up to 650 damage. So it's going to be 6 that enables you to one-shot through a bombard. So 6 is going to be the critical amount, and that's exactly what Beastyqt's got as that 6th bombard, or that 6th trebuchet is rolling in. But that's going to be the key amount that he needs. Once he's got those 6 trebuchets, he's going to be able to hold. And now we really start to ask that question, who is the king in the late game? Because I've often said, as a Chinese player, I think that if the English player plays it perfectly in the late game, that definitely they can win. I think they've got all the tools that they need to win. And Beastyqt, he definitely looks like he's in a hard spot. All 3 sacred sites have taken by China. China's looking very strong. He's got heavy amounts of Nest of Bees out, a lot of bombards out. You can see the amount of bombards that are coming out. Obviously, we've got clock tower ones going, but he's supervising up a siege workshop. We see reusable barrels now coming in as well for the Nest of Bees, looking to reduce the cost of those units. Trebuchets in the middle, looking to try and tee down on towards these keeps. Beastyqt coming out with his 6 trebuchets. He's sitting at max population, 1,000 food in the bank, but only 250 gold. Having a real struggle without gold in this position. And keep in mind, he is doing this without gold, right? Like that's the thing. He is playing this at a significant disadvantage. Bombard army looking very, very fierce right now for his opponent. 8 bombards in total coming out, and they just continue moving forward, just taking out absolutely everything with beautiful precision. Trebuchet's going to be so careful. Beastyqt probably needs to have them in the line formation just so that they move up, and that way they all shoot from that 16 range, because otherwise you've got them sort of behind each other. Makes it a little bit more tough, and now you can see him firing off towards those individual units. This is the point in the game where bombard numbers actually become so important to deal with. 10 bombards now coming out. They start one-shotting enemy units, enemy infantry. Longbowmen get one shot for sure. Men-at-arms don't actually get don't get one shot. Now Trebuchet's looking to fire down, dish out a bit of damage here. We'll have a look as he does it, but it looks like the sacred site was neutralized. I think it might have been this one down towards the south. I wasn't actually paying attention, but we can see that the sacred victory is now approaching. So Beastyqt's bought himself a little bit more time. Continuing to push out onto the map, we see that there's quite a few bombards that continue to be out here, and Nest of Bees, that you can hear them rattling up towards the north. Where are they? I can hear them teeing off towards something. But now down towards the south side, Beastyqt looking to just be annoying. Oh, there's those Nest of Bees. Bee just sending 7 random Nest of Bees down towards the south, looking to clear that out. Interestingly, no stone walls coming up for him, and Beasty going to be dropping a keep down. So a nice little keep. Beasty in the middle now, looking to try and push out and gain a bit more position. Trebuchet's on the backside doing a great job. He's got 7 trebs in total. Beautiful infantry mass for him. He's on 109 villagers, so plenty of space in there to get out units. And look at the numbers for Bee right now. He's got 11 clock tower bombards, plenty more in queue, but he's starting to exhaust all the gold from around the map. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing or thinking about potential trade as an option for B at this point. But now Beasty going for a little bit of a run by, going to be able to find the first bombard. The question is going to be whether he gets it down. It's not going to be a clock tower bombard, so it's got a little bit less health. Second bombard might be going down. It's not a clock tower bombard either, and it looks like Beastyqt might be finding a couple of bombards for free. Unfortunately for B, he hasn't walled up the center, so it means that his opponent's going to be able to run straight through the middle. This is the consequence of sending all of those Nest of Bees down towards the south side. Is now all of a sudden you become a lot more open to those raids because you no longer have that siege presence that you once held in the middle. But now a little bit of a push coming in on the front side. You can see the way that B is just moving up with impunity here. He's not scared of anything. Sure, you can run 1,000 horsemen at me. I've got Nest of Bees. I got clock tower bombards. I got everything I need to deal with it, mate. Don't you worry. Do not worry at all. Look at the number of bombards that he's got. He's got them in the line formation, and they still have to go over 2 lines. That is absolutely ludicrous. We'll check in with B, see how he's doing with this raid. You can see the Palace Guard's going to be able to follow on these units here. Still, we don't see full upgrades coming through for either of these players just yet. Only +2 armor for Beastyqt at this point. I guess he hasn't really had the gold to get these upgrades through. And that +2 is coming through from clad armor. So he has actually got, I'm 99% sure he's got 0 melee armor. Which one? Yep, 0 melee armor at this point in the game. We're 33 minutes in, and Beasty has forgotten. I don't know if I would say forgotten. Maybe it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I actually don't know what the interaction is between the Nest of Bees, which fires... I think it fires siege damage, so I don't think armor makes a difference between it. I feel like it does, but I don't know. So the total amount of units, let's take a look and see what kind of units we've got right now for 3DB. So you're talking about a total of 7 Nesta Bees. You're talking about 14 Bombards. That is a freaking ludicrous amount of Bombards. And then 22 Palace Guards. We've got 2 Monks that are out just capturing sacred sites. That's it. That is it. Nothing else at all. And now Beastyqt just chilling out for a little bit. Just biding his time. He's up to 12 Springles, so not a bad amount of Springles, and now finally going to be getting that Siege Works through. So he has remembered to get the Siege Works. It's better late than never. 34 minutes. Bombards firing off trebuchets. This is what we were talking about. The trebuchets should look to try and snipe out these bombards. You can see them taking out quite a bit of damage right there, but the trebuchets move. They look to kite away. You cannot directly engage here with those trebuchets, and you can see the bombards trying their best to get in range to take out the trebuchets. Trebuchet is going to be able to unpack, fire down a single volley, and then look to try and move back again. But now bombards, as well as Nesta Bees, firing off. Beautiful composition coming out here from B. It's quite literally just 100% siege here. And now we really get to see the testament in the late game as to the strength of China, the strength of English. Springles on the backside looking to fire down on all of this siege, and the numbers are starting to slowly dwindle here for B. He's down to 7 clock tower bombards, 4 Nesta Bees remaining. The trebuchets are still looking pretty good for Beastie on the backside. Springles on the front going to be able to focus down. There's not enough villagers out here to repair all this siege up, and even if there was, the critical mass of siege for Beastyqt has been reached, and now going to have to fall back away from this position. Beautiful micro coming out from Beastyqt in this center of the map. Absolutely methodically played. Not once did those trebuchets ever have to take a shot, ever have to be taken down by those clock tower bombards, and that's really where the difference comes in here. As soon as those bombards engage with those trebuchets, that's where the real difficulties start happening for those trebuchets. You can see 480 health now compared to the 204 damage that comes out. So it's going to be 3 shots to take out these trebuchets now. But slowly Beastie going to be able to push up. He's going to continue looking to expand out his line of sight. We see an outpost number 1 coming down, outpost number 2 coming down, and with that network of Castadels is going to be coming out. In fact, no, I thought that might have been the big gold mine. I want to go back and review this game and just double check where was that second big gold, because we obviously know that there was a big gold down towards the south. In fact, B's been doing a great job of just gathering it all up. There's plenty of gold down here. He's supervising it. He's cleaned it out as well, and has subsequently taken the sacred site. But now we've got traders coming in, so it's going to be 4 markets here, and he's going to be trading them over towards this position. It's actually going to be the very first trade that comes through. 176 gold in his back pocket. He's going to be very happy with that. It's better to start the trade sooner than later. But I'm curious to see exactly how B plays this in the late game, because we haven't seen any Grenadiers. In fact, we're still in the Song Dynasty. So he's failed to take advantage of some of those bonuses that you do get as China in the late game. Obviously, the first one's going to be Yuan Dynasty, which enables you to make the Fire Lancer. Not a particularly useful unit when it comes out into these battles. Second dynasty, it's going to be Ming Dynasty, which obviously gives you that extra 10% health on all military units. That is correct. Every single one of them. So that includes your Palace Guards, that includes your Nesta Bees, that includes your Bombards, but most importantly, it also enables you to make the Grenadier. The Grenadier is probably the fiercest unit in this game. I would be very happy to say that, you know, would you rather face like 200 Bombard-sized Grenadiers? Wait, hold on. Hold on. 200 Grenadier-sized Bombards or 1 Bombard-sized Grenadier? And I'm pretty sure it's 200 Grenadier-sized Bombard. I don't know. I confused myself. I'm sorry. You guys know where I was going for with that meme, though. Beastie now going to be looking to defend up against these Bombards numbers. I like that B is just sitting here, setting them up. The distinct difference is in this battle that there's a lot less Bombards. At least it seems to be the case. Perhaps B is working a bit more on his economy. B now going to continue pushing out. And now I start to think about potential balance for this, because I look at this and I think, I don't feel like this isn't healthy. One of the easy changes that I think you could make would be to reduce the cost, or sorry, to increase the population of siege. And I think this is a great way to nerf siege without nerfing siege. You know what I mean? Like, you're not nerfing 2 mangonels. You're not nerfing 2 bombards. What are you nerfing? You're nerfing 8 bombards. You're nerfing 8 Nesta Bees. Like, that's what you're nerfing. You're not nerfing 2 or 3 bombards. You're nerfing those bigger numbers. So I think that could be a very reasonable change for siege, because obviously you see the Chinese late game and you see this and you're like, okay, this is the dream Chinese comp. But you start to feel like maybe that's a bit too many bombards. Like, you probably shouldn't have that many bombards. It's a little bit ridiculous. Now starting to shell down that Spirit Way, not really going to be too meaningful. As you can see, this landmark that has been placed down from 3DB is quite literally absolutely useless. It is not doing anything. You know, buildings near this landmark produce dynasty units at 30% cost. There's not even a building in that surrounding area of effect. Like, he's not using that building at all. It is literally just to get him to Imperial Age. That is it. little bit of a run by coming through now for Beastyqt. Once again, he still doesn't have his +1 melee armor. He's only got that clad armor, though he is getting it. He's finally getting his upgrade. He's remembered to get it. He's like, wait a minute, I've got +1. Yeah, you got +1, Beastyqt. Yeah, you can get +1. There you go. Coming through for him. We see that we've also got +3 that is now coming through as well for both of these players. They seem to have remembered now with a bit of a run through coming through that hold on a minute, I can get +1, I can get +2, I can get +3. Indeed you can. Indeed you can. Bombard still without villagers on this front side. Ideally, when you take this engagement, you're going to want to have villagers. That's going to be the big key difference here. And then it's going to come down to, you know, very, very, very careful micro because I've theorized about this, and I do suspect that your late game in this composition is going to come down heavily to micro and being able to out micro the English player, because there's probably about a 3-second window before, or like after these trebs fire, before those actual boulders hit. So I'm thinking like, when it starts getting to a serious level, you're probably going to start to see players like, as soon as the trebuchet boulders swing, the bombards move. Whether they move up, whether they move back, I'm not sure exactly, but like that is what you're going to start seeing, because it can be very difficult when those fights are going on to actually, you know, deal with that. But now we start seeing those upgrades coming through for Beastyqt, looking to get all of his +3s, his +2s, his +1s, all that good stuff. Trebuchet down towards this south side going to be coming down here for Beastyqt. Can't help but wonder exactly why that was. Horsemen, elite horsemen down to the south, looking to try and clean up this sacred site. Not going to have a whole lot of luck here. Palace guards are out in force, but now Beastyqt under attack. In fact, hold on a minute. Rather, 3DB. Where's 3DB's forces? I'm not sure if I missed it or exactly what happened. It might have been the elite horsemen coming in, but we've finally got a horseman switch, and they've managed to clean up a huge amount of Nester Bees. In fact, I see 5 Nester Bees bodies that are there. Bombard's now coming out, and Beat all of a sudden looks to have misplayed a little bit, spread himself a little bit too thin. I'm not sure exactly where his army is. I'll try and get a little bit of an idea. There's units up. Oh my god, he's got 5. Why does he have 5 bombards up here? What are you bombards doing? You crazy bombards. No villagers here looking to repair up these bombards either. Trying to make their way in, but no Yuan dynasty is going to mean that they're running extra slow. Only 1.29 movement speed, not 1.49 like they could be. And now he continues trying his best to clean up this position. Sacred Site is going to get neutralized, so Beastyqt is going to successfully stop that Sacred Site counter once again and look to try and take control of this game. He is looking a little bit better now. All of a sudden, things are looking good for him. A lot of units in queue. We got Bombards. We've got Siege coming out from the Siege Workshop being supervised out here. A mix of Nester Bees together with those Bombards. It is non-stop coming out. And now that Bombard turning around and going to be able to fire down upon those Springalds. Not actually able to one-shot the Springalds anymore now that he's got the upgrade for it. But we do see a continued push coming through. Nester Bees starting to look like they might stabilize. A keep going to be coming down as well for Beastie. He's trying his best to hold on. Bombards on the opposite side are going to have to stretch themselves thin if they wish to try and take this out. A lot of units trying their best to get out here, but the Palace Guard numbers are very, very nice right now for 3DB. 3DB now going to continue moving up towards the Springalds, and all of a sudden, just when you thought they was in a safe position taking out these Bombards, are going to be forced back. More Nester Bees on the backside, now going to be turning their attention towards the Trebuchets as they sling their rocks in all directions. Keep going down in the middle. Palace Guards moving down from the left hand, or from the south side. Keep still going to be going up here for Beastyqt. You can see he's also got his Court Architects in. A little bit more health on this keep, so it's going to take him... I mean, it probably doesn't take him longer to build it. Probably just goes up slightly faster, but look at on the backside, the Palace Guards just doing what they do best, getting in on top of those counterweight trebuchets. But you can see that it is mutually assured destruction right now. Both players really trying their best to take out the enemy siege, doing a great job. All of those trebuchets are going to be going down, and that's going to take time now for Beastyqt to rebuild. And this is really where China's got a chance, because now those trebuchets are dead. 95 elite horsemen in queue for Beastyqt. He has decided to switch. He is going absolutely ham with the elite horsemen. He is pushing them out once and for all. He's going to be able to utilize them and use them to take out the siege that comes through here. Keep in mind they get that added extra damage against siege, so they do 20 torch damage, and then they do an extra 20 on top of that, so 40 in total when you compare it to the amount of damage or amount of health that these cocktail bombards have got. And you probably need about 20 swings, and it's going to be able to take them out. But now more horsemen continuing to come out for Beastyqt. We'll take a look and see what his production looks like. He's got 19 stables right now, 105 elite horsemen in the queue, continuing to funnel down unit. His production is absolutely off the chain right now, and 3DB looking to try and defend. He's down to 180 population. You can see he's barely got any wood left, not going to be able to repair his bombards, not going to be able to repair his keep, not going to be able to make any units that require wood. Still, we don't see a Ming dynasty. Is it in Tang dynasty? He's gone backwards? How do you go back to Tang? I don't even know how you do that. Is that even legal? Is that even legal? How did he do that? Surely he's still got his 2 landmarks here. I don't even know how he's managed to go back to Tang. I can't believe that. There's no two ways about it. Has he put down another landmark somewhere? I don't think so. I'm not sure exactly how he did that, but Bombard's looking to try and force out this position. You can see Nesta B's on the backside. Palace Guard's going to be coming out, and China looking very strong, but those trebuchets once again going to get forced back. You can see the numbers coming out here for B are starting to look pretty decent, but at the same time, Beastyqt are going to continue sending in reinforcement. It looks like elite longbows together with elite men-at-arms together with those elite horsemen. It is the supreme late-game composition here. I would almost go to the extent of saying it's trash, but those elite men-at-arms obviously do cost a little bit of gold. And now we do finally see a landmark coming up in the middle for B. It is going to be the Imperial Palace, which provides extended line of sight for all of his units to see gloriously. It also gives him the Yuan dynasty, which means his units are going to start moving very fast. That is an extra 15% speed, and that goes over to everything, including your villages. Takes them up to 1.49 movement speed, so you can get in between this siege. And now Beastyqt looking to try and hold on this position, and we're starting to see that supreme Chinese late game come out. Beastyqt looking like he might be in a bit of a difficult spot. A lot of units coming out for him, but at the same time, there's not a lot of siege. And now Beastyqt going to be continuing to round the corner. All of the units are split up into a staggered formation, so they're going to take less damage from the Nesta Bees. Looks like he's been caught on a couple of units and now going to be able to split up as he continues running in. He's going to be able to find a pretty decent hole here. 32 elite horsemen in the queue. He's worked himself down to 6,000 gold, or rather 6,000 food, and he's going to be able to get in on top of all of this siege and slowly but steadily burn it down. The longbows in the backside going to be able to pick off all these units as well. Men-at-arms going to be able to provide a beautiful little front, and the horsemen doing effective amounts of damage against those Nesta Bees, but we continue to hear those bombards firing off, as well as the double keep here, just going to be constantly supporting more units as long as they continue coming out. B down to 156 population, though things are not looking good for him. He's got 10 Nesta Bees in queue right now, and you can see just how many siege workshops he's got. This guy means absolute business. Also, we saw the monastery going down, which is going to mean less gold trickling to him. He's got those traders that continue to work for him behind, so he's not going to have to think too hard about gold, but he's definitely going to have to think hard about wood, because lumber is definitely going to be an issue. There's still a fair bit of it out on the map, but when you're mining it long distance like that, it starts to feel bad, man. Beastyqt slowly but steadily capitalizing here. The push is really coming out, and you can see both of these players are trying their best to hold on. You can see that Beasty is demonstrating the very strong English late game, but at the same time, we still don't have that perfect Chinese late game. There's still no Grenadiers coming out at this point from B. He's still stuck in that. In fact, it says Tang Dynasty, but I assure you it is not the case. He is indeed in the... you can see here from the villager movement speed that the 1.49. He is sitting in that Yuan Dynasty. Now Spearman coming out as well. Spearman going to be looking to try and deal with the elite horseman spam. So it's going to be a mix of spears together, but now the trebuchets on the backside firing down on these units. You can see the bombard slowly but steadily being repaired up. The shattering projectiles is going to help out trying to deal with those villagers. You can see that when those boulders land, they actually they hit the villagers and do quite a decent amount of damage. Hardened Spearman now trying their best to take out those elite horsemen. The longbows continuing to move up towards the central of sacred site. On the backside, the horsemen over here are also going to be dishing out damage, and you can see Nesta Bees, or rather 3DB is just doing such a great job in spreading out his villagers, making sure they all repair, but now things are not looking good for him. Beastyqt is down to 150 population, no wood in the bank at this point. He's on 100 villagers. I don't know whether he's deleted them or lost them, but a Wallalo might potentially come out as well as B looks to try and capture up some of these units in the middle. Defending with his Relic, but unfortunately, Beastyqt are going to be able to fall back away from that position. It's a 47-minute Wallalo. Very, very nice use of the Monk, but unfortunately, not enough to swing the tide of battle. But those veteran spearmen are now getting their upgrades. Elite Spear is going to be coming out as well. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed from B here. This is the supreme composition in the late game. You don't need Grenadiers. No, 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 sir. You just need Nesta Bees. You just need Clock Tower Bombards, and you need a lot of Spearmen. You need some Palace Guards, and that is all you need up against the English. But now on the backside, Beasty still continuing to make those Wingard armies. I'd love to see how many he's made this game, because I suspect it's probably starting to climb towards that 20 to 30 number. There have just been Wingard armies coming out non-stop. You can see that we're at the 48th minute. I think he hit Imperial about 14 minutes, and those things have been coming out non-stop since. Hand Cannoneers going to be trying their best to hold on here. Beastyqt looking very good, but at the same time, economy starting to look a little bit worrisome. He's on 103 villages. He's actually making more villages as we speak. Over on the other side, B thinking about the same thing. He's got 11 villagers in queue, and who wins this game? That is the question. We're at 48 minutes right now, and I don't feel like anyone is really breaking aside. Beastyqt, he's sitting on a pretty decent amount of population, but now all of a sudden, B, he's put a monastery at the front of his base. I can't help but feel it might be a little bit of an awkward position. as Beasty looks to try and take it out, I suspect, with trebuchets very, very shortly. Beastyqt trying his best to continue pushing forward. The men-at-arms going to be able to take out the nest of bees here, and we really start to see that English power in the late game coming through. We see a Relic getting picked up by the Monk. Wololo going to be coming in here. He looks to try and take it out. Second Wololo coming in here. Looks like all three Relics now going to be coming out on the ground. A potential third Wololo might come out very, very shortly. Indeed it does. Those men-at-arms going to be jumping in and looking to try and take out the Monk before it gets off. Managed to take it out, and that Relic drops to the ground. Very, very close there, but Beastyqt sitting on 190 population. 3DB sitting on 120, and things starting to look very shaky now for him. He's got traders in the backside. He's got granaries on the backside as well, but unfortunately, he's running very low on wood, low on villager count, low on military, low on morale, low on absolutely everything, because Beastyqt is slowly but steadily grinding him out, and now we start to see that superior English late game finally come through. This is the classic 50-minute English timing in the late game. No, I am joking. But in all seriousness, yeah, it's finally here. We've had those enclosures ticking since minute 15. We've had those Wingard armies just tracking out slowly for the last 35 minutes, and finally we are here with the supreme composition coming out for both of these players, and now the Bombards move forward, looking to try and take out these units. You can see they're going to be able to pick up a couple of the stragglers down here. Zumbitsut's going to be coming in for a push, trying his best. The daggers coming out for the villagers as well. No Ming Dynasty coming in at all right now for B. It has been an absolutely glaring error that he has made. And now another Wololo going to be coming in, looking to defend against these Clock Tower Bombards, and Horseman going to be running past. He's going to be heading straight to the trade line with those for sure. He knows that those traders are out, they're about, and they are causing havoc down there. In fact, he looked for a very brief second like he was going to be going after Imperial officials. Indeed he is, taking out you in particular. Fuck you in particular, Imperial official. Yeah, fuck you, Imperial official. I hate you, dude. Damn, dude, you're always doing annoying shit. But now Beastyqt going to continue running down towards this south side. Going to be able to find granaries, villagers gathering up on them. Spearmen in tow. Those are elite spearmen, fully upgraded, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough to hold that on, because Beastyqt is continuing to push through at the front. Trebuchet is going to have to fall back, and now we start to see elite knights coming out. Oh my lord, look at the composition that we've got coming out from these guys. Still no Reboldaquin, but who needs Reboldaquin? You don't need Reboldaquin. No, so you got enough trebuchets for it, and we can see that there are just plenty of horsemen running absolute rampage through the base to B right now. He's on 140 population, 85 villagers. Compare that over to Beastyqt, who's sitting on 116, and he's happy, he's healthy, he's got walls up, stone walls on every single side. He knows that there's no one penetrating through his defenses, not today. And now he continues pushing through on this central position. A lot of knights coming out for him as well, so doing a great job here and just keeping his enemy on his toes, spending all of those resources as well. 84 villagers at the moment sitting on farms. It is a ludicrous amount of villagers on farms, but this is the power of the English late game. This is what sets them apart. No, not the trebuchets. Not the trebuchets. Not like this. The trebuchets now gonna have to fall back. Beastyqt trying to hold on, but at the same time, B trying to hold on. He's got units everywhere. Big raids coming through over on the other side, and now we can see that there was going to be walls coming up for B, but I can't help but feel these walls could have been 30 minutes ago, and now all the traders going to get picked up. You can see that it is in absolute shatters. Beasty pushes down, and B gives up. Good game gets called. Fellas, if you've enjoyed this casted game, make sure you go check out Beastyqt. I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can find out more about this guy. He's got his own YouTube channel. He puts out a lot of good content. He's one of the best players in the world. Go check him out. I'll catch you guys in the next one.